Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. So this is the last of our blocks, and I say this one for last because, and we discussed this back on the blocking one, technically in Seidokan we don't do the Soto uke, or what in Japanese they call their uke-uke, blocking to the inside. It's not technically an original part of Seidokan because Seidokan opens people to the outside more often than not. But we do have things where we're blocking to the inside, or there are movements, for example, I showed this in Pinyan Shodan where we come in here. So the gross motor movement is in our kata, and every other style of Okinawan and Japanese karate does it. So while it may not be original Seidokan, we do teach it, and it's the Soto uke. Now the Soto uke is kind of cool because we're not going to do that one standing here like we do the others, because the accompanying kick for this one is going to be the back kick. So we're going to do this from our forward and fighting stance, where I would do my Soto uke here, and again, this is a block, strike, joint break, hold, lock. So it's all of those things depending on how you want to use it. But just taking it off of a punch, a quick block, and I'm moving my hip, taking my hip into it. As my hip goes, so does my foot. Boom. And I knock them in, which sets me up in this direction to turn from here and back kick and come to my fighting stance. That's our combination for today. Soto uke, ushiro geri. Now, the ushiro geri can be straight to the back, as we learned it, right? So if I'm facing here, I look over this shoulder. I'm not turning full, so my shoulders turn, just my head enough to peripherally see with my peripheral vision. Look over the shoulder, straight back kick. But the turning back kick is facilitated by the inward movement. Now, do I block first, then step, or block and step? It's situational. But when we practice it, I'm going to block first, step, turn, kick, come around. Block first, turn, kick, finish, come around. Soto uke, ushiro geri. Really quick and simple tonight. That's it. But with that said, I wanted to look really quickly in kata, sort of the evolution of some of the moves. 2 or 3 places in particular. Okay? In Pinyan Shodan, where we've gone here, and now I turn, so I'll do it to this side. In our system, we do back fist, front kick, typically. Even within our Seidokan ranks, some have gone to the newer side kick back fist. The oldest iteration of that was block and kick. That's the version we see in Pasai, which is a much older kata. Okay, so, or Pasai Sho, I should say, sorry. So in Pasai Sho, right, as we turn into this section. Okay, we'll do it this direction, here, as we turn here. So in Pasai Sho, we have simultaneous block and kick. In Pinyan Shodan, we have the second version. So the evolution of this move goes original, next version, most contemporary version. Now I say that just to demonstrate that the blocks and kicks can be done simultaneously. They can be done flowing into each other. They can be done one after the other, separate completely, but the whole gist of this sequence of block and kick has been to get it into our kumite brain, to get it into our brain that I can actually injure the attacking limb, creating an immediate opening for whatever my follow-up kick will be. That's key, and to demonstrate where it's within kata. Now the evolution in the kata, as I just showed, from here to here to here, has sort of been for showiness and for tournament. This is a much closer in technique than this and that. So the range of the technique has gone from self-defense to tournament sparring. That's been the major influence, and that happens also in kata. There are old going back to Pasai, for example, Pasai show we had the kick and block, but in Pasai, where we go here, there are some styles that simply step without the big leg raise. This has always been a throw. To think that I'm blocking somebody here and then kicking somebody there and then grabbing the guy that I kicked who would have flown that way, if I'm thinking self-defense and old Okinawan kata, this has always been a throw. I tried to throw him, I couldn't get him, I'm going to grab him and pull him, throw a little harder. I tried to throw him, couldn't get him, he's on my shoulder, now I lift his leg, as in Uchimata. In sumo, you'll see that quite a bit. I forget what the other judo, there are a couple of other judo throws. In wrestling, when I'm on the ground and I use my leg to move a guy, or in jiu-jitsu, the same thing, we call this an elevator. It lifts the body out of the way. So I have the block and kick, which is really just showing levels of how to do the throw, but it also demonstrates how kicks came into kata, where originally it was just a step to walk across. So as you look back in your lineage, you'll see some of those things. Anyway, Soto uke, ushiro geri, Soto uke, ushiro geri. That's our technique for today. That's all of our block kick combinations. Age, geran, uchi, soto, with their accompanying kicks, which again could be, I could do soto uke, my geri, soto uke, mawashi geri. Could be any kick. But for our purposes of my testing and to give a standard by which to check them, those are the ones that I use. Questions, comments? Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, ask a question, make a comment, visit me. Don't leave me here all alone. And until next week, as always, keep practicing.